is that we had a little hiccup there with the start of the match, and we're getting going now. We've seen already some like subtle differences in terms of the route choices in that first match, and I think we're going to continue to see that going forward. So I think it was very interesting to see how the different players approach that first match, and we'll see if Darker makes similar decisions to that first race, and we'll see what Seceon does. Also, Zypress, welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, we have a base map spammer here. I do the same thing. Let's go.
I remember very early on. I don't remember who it was, but very early on in my speedrunning time, someone told me that I think it was Lake. I think Lake told me that if you spam the map, it like saves you a frame in the crawl space, and so I did that for like the longest time. And like, I finally found like a year later or something, I found out that it doesn't do anything.
They were trolling you, dude.
Yeah.
That's great. You know, actually, what's interesting, a little bit of lore, is one of the I have memories of teaching Thunder how to do some GIM. It was very interesting, and it's interesting to see how he grew over the years. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, when in a community like this, you get to see some really interesting things, development of different players and the development of different strategies and stuff like that. So I think it's really funny that, you know, I saw him from the start, and then bam.
No, you definitely helped me out with a lot of the core things of the GIM route with defeat Ganon. I was definitely very much a student at one point.
And then that's when the student becomes the teacher, I think, is now.
I think the best players are continuously students, though, as well as teachers. You know, it's about
sure.
It's about, you know, passing on what you've learned as well as continuing to learn.
100%. Yeah, I believe Dan introduced me to Thunder, and Dan had to work, so that's around the time that I got in contact with Thunder, and I remember teaching you how to do QPA and some GIM stuff, some backups and extra saves and stuff, and here we are now.
Yeah, I definitely had some really good teachers for Ocarina of Time. I'm very, very grateful for this community and the support and the opportunities that I've had in terms of learning this game, how to speedrun it.
For sure. We're seeing very similar strats between Darker and Seceon now, so like almost identical strats. So yeah, big shout out to the coaches, as long as it's asked for.
Yeah, so both racers are pretty close here. I would say Darker is probably 10 to 15, maybe 15 seconds ahead of Seceon right here. Going into this Cucko segment, it'll be really interesting to see how Seceon plays here, and to see if Seceon can gain any ground on Darker by the time that they get the bottle. So it'll be really interesting to see how both of these players attack the Cucko segment.
Speaking of this category, you know, I don't know exactly how much this person ran this category, but I just have to mention this now that I see them in here. Big shout-outs to Tashman. Some might say that Tashman is still stuck in the water temple, getting sucked into the little tornado tsunami thing. But, you know, big shout-outs to Tashman.
We have a lot of great runners who,
what a great community.
It's a great community, and there have been so many just legendary people that, you know, just like very uniquely talented people that you get to meet, you know, if you really pursue speedrunning, Ocarina of Time speedrunning. It's cool. Like, it's a cool journey, you know.
100%. I mean, I've met so many great people through this game. In fact, I know, you know, we're here to commentate races, but I feel like this is also like a family reunion. You know, a lot of us grew up on this game, and maybe not even together through speedrunning, but some of us definitely. You know, I think I was not even 18 before I met some people that taught me how to speedrun this game and get better. And in fact, I ended up meeting some of them in person uh, in 2023. So I mean, what a beautiful community, what a beautiful game to inspire others to work together. And yeah, I mean that's just what this category right here is all about. I mean this showcase right here is all about showing where it all started from. You know, where we all got inspired to not only make friends but you know optimize a game that we all love, right? So.
It's so like, it's so interesting how like, you know, we see Kakariko Route as like this sort of I don't know, this like figment of the past, but like there was a point in time where like people were like so focused on just the science behind this route, you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
like trying to just there was a certain like magical element of like figuring out how to beat Ocarina of Time as fast as possible back then, you know.
I mean,
Um,
it's definitely still the case, and
for
that's
sure.
what's so beautiful about this game. And I think also with you know other N64 titles, but I think like considering that these games have been out for so long now, just the idea that like people just spent time working together on how to optimize a game this old, you know, and we could be out there playing the most recent releases of these new games. I mean, people still do, but we love this game so much and the people surrounding it. So
Yeah, I'm very excited to go to. I'll be going to GDQ in January,
oh, that's
and
awesome.
sure I'll be meeting a lot of OT and other Zelda people. Um, so that's always a fun time. I went last year in Pittsburgh as well. It was wonderful. It was really fun.
Heck yeah.
But back to the race. It looks like Darker is now entering the Deku Tree, and Seceon is now getting the shield and making their way to the Deku Tree. So Seceon, a good bit behind Darker right now. It looks like Darker is hungry for that 2 out of 2, that second win. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Be really interesting to see if Darker can play cleanly through the second half of the run now to see if they can hit that Void Warp, you know, and correct that mistake they made in that first run. So it'll be really interesting to see how people make adjustments through the group stage play and how they make adjustments in the playoff stage as well, maybe based on who they're playing or you know various circumstances. So it's always interesting to see how people adjust and adapt during tournaments.
For sure. I'm excited to see when we're gonna see our first Skulltula B1 jump, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, there are
this one.
a lot of strats that I'm very curious to see if they will even happen. Like I really hope that we see some insta clips, you know, like I really do. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna say it's gonna
Ooh!
happen, but yeah, Darker playing with fire here with the Skulltulas getting by them. Um, but yeah, there are some strats that I'm really hoping for that we'll see. I hope that we'll see.
Wow, that was a really tight side hop there, like really early. But I mean, it still works. It's just like instant. Very good job from Darker there, getting that the B1 jump. A little too close to the first Deku scrub here. Let's see what Seceon does here for the B1 skin. I'm actually interested. I believe they're doing. It looks like they're about to go do the same thing that Darker's been doing.
Darker having a little trouble with the scrubs here, letting Seceon back into this one just a little bit. Something that's really interesting, it's a pretty common fact, I'm pretty sure, but something that I learned about these scrubs is you want to get as close as possible to them when you, or with that guy when you interact with them, because the farther they are away from you, the longer it takes for them to like get off camera, and that's when the cutscene ends for you to like go to the door.
Interesting. Grabbing extra nuts there from Seceon. Oh,
Oh, Seceon got nuts as well?
Seceon got extra nuts there. They killed the Deku Baba after B1 jump.
I think that's like a very reasonable thing to do. Just
Right.
because if you, I think that makes more sense to me than getting the nuts in the shop. You know, to just quickly like kill a Baba and get some nuts just in case you fail wrong
Maybe
warp.
that's 1 frame early. There we go. That's the frame. Okay. See if they do the side hop strip. Nope. Okay. That's. I mean, it's still gonna work just fine.
Yeah, so I've already seen the Goma clip here in this tournament. I think it's really cool. I honestly wasn't expecting that, so it's very, very cool.
I wonder if we're gonna see it from Seceon as well. Their hearts or their health looks relatively high for a double KO. So I believe we're gonna see another runner doing Goma clip as well. I believe we are.
Another Goma
Darker
clip.
getting ready for wrong warp here. Did I say wrong warp?
You're correct. They're doing it.
Oh, are we gonna see some side hop strats? We are.
Yeah. Darker is pretty far in this warp. That'll be a. I think
they're
could go
fine.
either way here. I think they're probably fine. It's always hard to see. It's always so marginal with how far you walk for that first Deku nut. But yeah, Darker successfully gets the wrong warp. And,
not risking the shield burn. Not this time.
Also, Seceon got Goma Clip. So still a close race here, right? So much that can happen in the second half of this run in this collapse and Ganon sequence. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this race unfolds.
Pretty far in the warp here as well for Seceon. I think it still works no matter what. Like, honestly, with having nuts for this, it makes it a lot easier than having to do the Deku Stick version with swordless.
Wrong is such a unique trick in that it's like, right, I mean, it's technically frame perfect, but it doesn't feel that way.
Especially with nuts, because we, like, the nuts, like, throwing the nuts, the animation of throwing the Deku nut, and it just wastes the perfect amount of frames.
Right.
So long as you do it at the right time. And it's a really, like, easily felt out trick, which surprises most people.
Yeah, it does, because of its significance.
Looks like we're
Alright, Darker needs to hold ESS left here. He's going to go straight into Zelda.
Okay, we got that
down. Good. There we go. There we go.
The ESS angle change. Okay, the target. Looks like we're good here.
I really like the use of the pauses by Darker. I think if he can clutch his Void Warp, I think it's the right move, honestly. Like, I think a lot of players would panic there and just try to send it. But really good move from Darker to recognize that pause and switch ESS.
And it looks like they got it.
There you go.
Yep. Alright.
Seceon is going down the tower.
I think Darker has this in the bag as long as they okay, they don't get lost here. And no death to Ganon. This is definitely definitely looking like it's in Darker's favor. Anything could happen though, so. Oh, no kiss.
No kiss. Gotta reset the run, unfortunately. Tournament rules.
That's actually a DQ, so...
Yeah, it's a DQ.
Congratulations.
Get him out of here.
I think sorry.
You go, and then I'll say.
Back on the topic of wrong warp, what I think is really interesting about wrong warp itself is that we actually we have to waste frames, and once we're over the hump, as far as I understand, you know, as long as we get past the hump with the perfect amount of wasted frames and keep our
Oh, Seceon just crashed.
Oh my goodness, that is extremely unfortunate. Our first crash of the tournament. So, the reason why the game crashes there is because if Zelda, I believe this is how it works anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, Thunder. But if adult Zelda talks to Link within the collapse area, the game does it just bugs out. It just doesn't know what to do. I guess it's an interaction that shouldn't be happening. So, the game just fails. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. And burning your shield causes that text to pop up. So when that text pops up on screen, that's run ogre. That's extremely unfortunate. Any yeppers?
Unfortunately, that's gonna be a 30-minute run for Seceon, and Darker will take game 2 out of 2.
They still have to finish though, so.
Still have to finish, true. Yep. A lot of things can happen at Ganon.
I believe in Darker, but we anything can happen. So let's see what goes on here. Okay, first try ISG. Very nice.
Really good first phase.
Okay. We got some confident gameplay here from Darker. I say that and then it's a little sketchy here, but one more hit. There we go. Darker taking the second race. Looking like a low 18.
This is really impressive this time. I don't know exactly what time this is going to be, but yeah, like a low 18.
I don't think anybody knows what times it's going to be anymore.
I'm not sure where the timer went. Oh well. We know. There it is, 18:06. A really good race from Darker. An unfortunate race for Seceon as they found themselves in the fire.
Sometimes you fly too close to the sun and you get burnt.